All right, good morning, boys and girls. It is Friday, March 20th, and day 2 of our e-learning. So we have a couple things lined up for you today. You have your morning message work, reader's workshop. I'd like you to continue working on your reading challenge for independent reading. We've got a booklet we're going to put together for writer's workshop and guided reading, choose your own centers, social studies, and of course, I want you to do pages 3 and 4 of your MAPS review packet. So hopefully you did this yesterday, but if you didn't, maybe you're having a little trouble. So let me see if I can help you out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the passage, and I want you to fill in the missing sounds and punctuation based on how I read it. So it says, "Dear superstars, have you ever seen a leprechaun? If you catch one, he will grant you 3 wishes. They can be tricky. You have to keep your eye on him if you do catch one. Yours truly, Mrs. Brenton." Now, I heard some digraphs in there. We've got some sight words we need to fix up. And I want you to really listen as I read it. Was the sentence being asked, told, or yelled? So remember, if it's telling, you use a period. If it's asking, you use a question mark. And if it's yelling, you use an exclamation point. So if you didn't do that yesterday, make sure you do that today. Also, if you didn't do this yesterday, make sure you're writing those 5 adjectives or describing words about cheese and writing a good, complete sentence with capital letter, punctuation, sounds like how we talk, all that good stuff using one of your adjectives. Now, I didn't go through this too much yesterday, but there's a passage here for you to read and some questions for you to answer. So one day you're going to be answering characters and setting. One day you need to draw a picture of Kyle and his sister playing in the snow. For Reader's Workshop, you guys are going to be listening to a read aloud of Fish is Fish by Leo Leone. So yesterday we read a Leo Leone book, and today we're reading another one. So click on this YouTube link and listen to the read aloud. Before you read it, I want you to make a prediction about why the tadpole would think he is a frog. So I want you to kind of think about that. Why would a tadpole think he's a frog? Probably many of you already know the answer to that. Then, as you listen to the story, think about why the fish thinks the other animals are fish just like him. After reading, I want you to tell one of your stuffed animals or someone in your house who was telling the story. So remember, I took a picture of our classroom anchor chart. When we talk about who is telling the story, we want to know from whose point of view. So think of those allies. I want you to cover up anything that's in quotation marks, and I want you to read that part. If you're hearing a lot of I, me's, and we's, then you know that this story is being told in first person by a character in the story. If you figure out that it's first person, tell me which character is telling the story. But sometimes when you cover up those quotation marks, you're going to hear a lot of he's and she's and names, which is your clue that the narrator is the one telling the story. After that, I want you to begin working on your How to Catch a Leprechaun book. So you're going to write your name. This is the first book cover, first page of your book. Now, there are 2 options for you. If your grown-ups have a printer at home, I'm going to be sending this out as a file, and they can print these pages for you so that your book is nice and big. But if they don't, cut the slides out of the packet and have your grown-up help you staple them together to make the booklet. This is basically a paragraph, right? Here are 3 things I know about leprechauns. That is your bun top. That is your topic sentence. Then first is your cheese. Next is your lettuce and tomato. And finally is your burger patty, right? So those are your 3 supporting details in your paragraph. Then your closing sentence is, so as you can see, this is what I know about leprechauns, or this is what's cool about leprechauns. Just make sure you're wrapping up that paragraph with a good bun bottom. Don't worry about doing the rest of this. This is, again, something you're going to work on a little bit next week. So just worry about those first 2 pages and then you can work on the next today if you want to, but I'll explain it more tomorrow. All right, so for guided reading today, you can choose from any one of these 5 center activities. You can do your word sort if you haven't done that already. You can practice typing your sight words or go outside and write them with sidewalk chalk. You can do some online learning like ABC Ya or Raz Kids or MobyMax or Ed Galaxy. You can draw pictures in your journal of synonyms and antonyms. Or you can pick one of your favorite books and hunt for words with diagraphs in them. If you do that, be sure to write those words in your guided reading book. And you guys know how I like those guided reading books nice and neat. So I want that date in the corner, and I want you to tell me what you're doing. 2 pairs of synonyms or 2 pairs of antonyms. Let's see. Oh, and then today is day 2 of your reading of one of your books. So if you're reading one of those big chapter books, read chapter 2 or chapters 2 and 3. If you are not reading a chapter book, read the second half of your book. And before you read that second half of your book, make sure you're reminding yourself about what happened before, so that as you pick up that book and continue that story, you've refreshed your mind with all of those good details. So you're finishing that book today. When you're done that, choose a writing prompt from your menu, put it in your guided reading book with the date, the writing prompt that you chose, and then your answer below. For social studies today, you're going to be learning all about Thomas Jefferson. So Thomas Jefferson was an American president who lived a long time ago. Click on the video link, watch the video, learn all about him, and then answer these 3 questions. 1, what did Thomas and Jefferson help to write along with Ben Franklin? 2, what state did Thomas Jefferson serve in as governor? And 3, what number vice president and what number president was Thomas Jefferson? You can put these answers in your guided reading notebook, or better yet, if your grown-ups have extra notebook paper around, you can use that as well. Just make sure to include that in your packet for me. If you don't have any paper in the house, you can just write directly on the packet underneath the slide.